It's time for a new fake Pokemon. We've created some of our own, we've evolved each other's, and we've even turned cryptids into cute pocket monsters. This time, the Lemon Squid has challenged us to create a new Pokemon inspired by any show of our choice, as long as it was featured on Cartoon Network. Unfortunately, Heath and Rob couldn't join us for this round, so we will be up against the fascinating animator Connor Heck, aka Goo Brain, who has recently worked with Oompaville and Meat Candy.
Bobby, no!
For my inspiration, I chose a show near and dear to my heart, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. I spent some time trying to get familiar with the art style from the show. For projects like this, I try to find commonly used shapes and expressions from the artist. This show has so much loose variety, it's outstanding that each of these characters and settings still have a cohesive style. I had no idea where I was going to go with this challenge, but I knew I wanted my Pokemon to involve candy. So I called the Lemon Squid to see how he was going to approach his. I just wanted to ask you a few things about the Fakemon. Are we doing a Pokemon inspired by the show? Or are we picking like a character and then turning that into a Pokemon?
Very good question. I'm kind of just leaving that up to interpretation. I chose to do one based off of a character, rather than just like the show in general. But I mean, like, you could go either way with it.
And did you try to like emulate the art style of the show?
I started off drawing the character, right? And then I was like, well, let me turn this into a Pokemon. But it was like a Pokemon in style of DrTNeil, which is the show I'm doing. But I didn't want that. I wanted it to look like it belonged in the Pokemon universe. But if you looked at it, you'd be like, I know where that's from.
Alright, man. That's all the questions I had about the Fakemon. I think I'm going to try to bust this out as soon as possible.
Alright, man. Well, good luck. And like I said, I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Alrighty, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Alright. Later.
Peace. I started by incorporating some pirate inspiration with features from the original characters. After a couple attempts, I landed on a fish that would look similar to Flapjack, and that's when it hit me. This could be a Swedish fish Pokemon, inspired by the candy. Although I had a concept, I realized I needed to make sure it was flat to match the 2D animation. Since I don't normally make characters like this anymore, it's easy for me to slip into my own art style. Which also means I wouldn't be adding shading. The show's characters are solid colors with bold outlines that sort of bleed into the corners. And I'll admit now, I was too lazy to go back and artificially make the line work look like the show. Some of you know I'm currently using a program called Sketchbook for my digital work. And for most of this project, I used 5 tools: the inking pen, the felt pen, the fill bucket, the eraser, and the coarse watercolor brush. It was at this point that I was informed Goo Brain and the Lemon Squid had already finished their fake Pokemon, and if I wanted to do a full piece, I would need to keep going without stopping. So I recreated the torn paper waves for a simple background. You might recall I also had a shark concept, which I wasn't going to use until I came up with the idea to have my Swedish fish Pokemon evolve into one of those blue shark gummies. So I pulled some things from my original sketch and combined them with elements from the Captain Knuckles design, including his signature wooden bottom. I again incorporated a couple pieces of the clothing and colors and tried to combine that with the gummy candies. For the backgrounds, I wanted to replicate the show as much as possible with the time I had. This was one of my favorite parts of the project and the actual show. I found myself captivated by the gritty textures and unusual scenarios. The marvelous misadventures of Flapjack paved the way for other silly but great works to thrive in the cartoon space. Like Regular Show, Gravity Falls, Over the Garden Wall, and Adventure Time. When I was younger, I would draw these characters at school with my friends, which inspired us to continually draw absurd characters ourselves, constantly making each other laugh. By the time we were graduating, my friends started to move on, and there was no more time for cartoons and silly faces. During my free classes, I would sneak off to the Quiet Marching Band Annex, binge episodes of Flapjack, and play flash games on CartoonNetwork.com. As of 2024, the website has been shut down and they have integrated with HBO. Even though I too moved on one day, I still smile when I think of streams of sody pop all trickling down the rocks. For this challenge, I have created Flappish and Kabloom, the water fairy type Pokemon who roam the seas looking for adventure. Let me know what you think of these fake Pokemon down in the comments. If you like this video, you'll enjoy my other minisodes, but those are just my portion of the challenges. Huge thanks to Goo Brain for joining us this time. It was really cool seeing someone actually animate their submission. If you'd like to see what I'm talking about, head over to the Lemon Squid Channel to watch the full episode. Stay creative, folks.
Oh, dude, that beautiful detail.
DIY, brother. Woo! Makes it look even better when you're done.